Okay then. So yeah, back for the final one of the new ideologies for GD stuff over here. The last one for now, we got ourselves conservatism stuff. The fires we conserve, keep it alive. How long will we conserve these fires? Who knows? It could be forever. It could be theoretically infinity. Who knows? Depends what the other circle is. I don't know. What I do know. What I do know is that you got a lot of blue over in here. I like the blue. Before over here, we got a right wing movement, populism movement here. Let's get on down into it. Everything lesson modern politicians took from the events of France, Germany, Russia, America, and Japan is that populism, though it may be detrimental, is a weapon that should not be discarded, as the Reds appealed to the workers, promising better work conditions and shorter workdays, future peaceful revolution, utopian ideas, and the various liberals swore that items of democracy. So too did many conservatives join the bandwagon. When hell broke loose and the old world order disappeared without trace, so did many of the right turned ever desperate to hold on to the last measures of power they still had. And determined and hopeless economic problems are born as the last measure gets retired. As they say, if you can't defeat them, join them. And as says populists of a more conservative kind eagerly embrace the authenticity and ferocity of popular revolt to their benefit, directing anger against the foreigners, quite the elite, the red and money for traitors and the degenerates that tear apart society with their reckless debauchery. Nonetheless, they stop short of embracing autocratic governance instead of preferring to keep the film democracy shining. And they are the opponents of the modern lax way of the debates riding guns to the gallows. In their program, they emphasize national unity, protection, status quo, and general reduction of the people. What means left to individual parties decide whether they turn left or right economically or what exact value they want in protection. Still, true to nature, it is in the promise of everything to everyone, as a secure solid political bloc of all colors and groups, usually by excluding or discriminating against others. Their party will lay their adversaries like a locomotive destroy any obstacle in its way. A natural question arises. When will it run out of steam? If there is a problem, no words can solve and no promises can be kept. To right populists, it is a matter of another day. Truth be told, in this world, any promise was low. Yet they persist, for if they cannot save the nation, then who else is up the track of that? The outside forces, the communists, La France, they all plot in secret. Destroy the nation, and whatever comes, they shall protect what is rightfully theirs. We plot over here to fucking. Where shall he be plotting to destroy nations? As we do. No, casually destroy nations as we do. Casually. Now we got fusionism moving in here. Deep Z is real, by the way. And now that's funny little fight over here. Let's get on to the. Yeah, let's get on and see how we can fuse things. Few think that to be conservative means to oppose any change to stay in the past vehemently. The outcome is far from truth. To be conservative means preserving what's best and what works to keep the people free and well. In the determinant of the era, the right-wing governments of the world need a new ideal, something to break free into the decrepit and righteous changes for our progressive world. While many embrace further reactionary views, broke bread with liberals or sometimes even the socialist leaders in American parties and statelets, she among the Frankenmeyer thought of a different paradigm. Nuclear American type conservatism, one found the principles of the founding fathers and the original desires. By free market economics and hardline social conservatism, the world celebrates a fusionism. At first, it is a heresy to many. The conservative were among the chief vanguards against uncontrolled capitalism and the small government. Points usually advocated by the liberal counterparts. For fusionists, however, laissez faire is the only fair economic system, as it reward those who work and punishes the slackers, allowing for the natural order to form peacefully. The liberal government, on the other hand, allows for the preservation of freedom as it is, without coercion, without intruding upon the freedom of others. In this sense, the state may only care for three key factors. Police, army, and the legal system to keep the nation from the same anarchy. However, when they break with libertarian capitalists is their social views, which bring God, family values, traditions as of the order to the top priority, strongly opposing radical change and said truly conservative society. While I found outside of American wastelands, futurism nonetheless became a new guide for those conservatives to these ministers and big governments. That brings forth not the utopia, but how realism and sound physical policies above the windings of red and pinks, preserving things as they should be. In the end, they all have shown that utopia is rarely work as intended. Instead of chasing the future, sharing something again and again, never telling the rest of history, one shall try to build the present. Yeah, I believe that present basically just being conservative too, electric boogaloo. That's basically what we're doing right now. And I'm very curious to see how this is going to work beyond the American state over here. It's a very American sort of thing. So I'm curious to see that. Guerin on the other hand, oh boy. Oh boy. Get that Guerin stuff. The working man took over the Cossack and Moscow and the philosopher Nesoland, despite the differences, have something in common. They can't survive without food and water. And where does it come from? The green pastures. The meadows and the plains are giant plots of land that have retired since time immemorial, bringing life to the human race. And many people, in fact, the majority of all humans, worked in the field until just some 50 years ago when industrialism permanently shifted demographics. And there were millions of factory workers. Yet they created wonders and horror. They still relied greatly on the farmer in order not to starve. This century in particular proved harder for the men of soil plowshare. As the rapid migration of productive force displaced or in many places outright enslaved the farmer to the whims of the city. When it was hard collectivization, Japan plundered taxes and took the origin and destiny of worlds without Western Europe. The farmer has always been the receiving end, they said. Following the political agrarianism, he is paradoxically as old as time and also newborn. One main thing is wrong about the primacy of agriculture. The Red Flood gave it a new purpose, whereas upon urban life, industrial parks and concrete miners were the how to try to misery. And radical evolutionaries, the countryside always remained fiend-pitted. True to his nature, rejecting perverse changes in favor of approaches tried and tested by the iterations. Naturally, their main goal is to uplift the rural farmer and ultimately to reach Arcadia, the peaceful symbiosis of the rural community, material plenty, spiritual well-being, and flourishing environment. To them, the homestays are the heart and soul of proper and thriving study. When I hold the virtue of labor, family, and community. The natural effort of plowing the soil and tending to the creators' independence and self-reliance until our taught families form and reverence to God is solidified. Despite some grim predictions that the peace of technology government at one point would render them useless, toss the farmer's side industries and done away with craftsmen, they seem not to care. And why should they? For as long as mankind walks the earth, so too our farmers will on, no matter what happens around them. Yeah. See, the future is always present, the past is a bitch, but the farm is always present. Farm is always been present over here. We got to get that present, so we gotta get that. We gotta get that bread for the bread service. You know what I mean? It's how we do. Yeah, and also I think I want to skip the past going down Verminism. I forget though. I haven't seen anything about City Car. Did it? I should remember if see, I know the last big one just for the nation was France. But I remember everything about fucking City over here. We got some Japan stuff over here, but those are like flags and shit, so yeah. With that over here, we got that religious conservatism over here. How conservative is this religion? We'll see. 4 ideologies before politics, before the very green vase, Le Patron is a colon right there. That's a typo. So we'll fix that shit. And the chairman. There was God, and when God created the land, he took the enemy to multiply and spread his world. And God said to the world, let there be light, and everything fucking exploded. He took his life apparently. Since time immemorial, religion has been the main axis of social cohesion. People come to the church to find answers if they find refuge and seek aid. When life took a downturn, holy shit. Here they passed king and emperor rose and fell, but the church always accompanied them. Whenever possible, guiding the masses away from evil and until they carried him to the Lord. And even as secularism began to travel as waves of radicalism and revolutions shook the world to its core, many still remain faithful that one day the hard times will go over and pray for keen forgiveness. Hard times will never be over, by the way. In some cases, the religiosity directly translates to politics, quite often embracing the democratic mentor and transforming into what is commonly known as the religious democracy or religious conservatism. While God gave no clear instructions on how to organize the state and command it, they embraced the parliamentarian model as the only one capable of corresponding to the needs of the people and upholding social and moral cohesion is dynamism in autocracies. While predominantly found in the Christian world, we also found universally every religion. While Muslim and Buddhist students came to the West, they were eager to take them out of Europe and America and bring them home to build proper nations to the auspices of their deities. While some authoritarian execution of opposed autonomy, they rarely obstruct democratic processes of reform. They perform and maintain a status quo by popular mandate supported by some form of controlled economy, whether Keynesian or corporate model. Someone was frothy in the mouth right now, by the way. I know one guy who froths the mouth every time to see Keynesian anywhere, anytime. To yet the people and provide for the well-being as Lord's command. So this is decried by fundamentalists as capitulation is heresy, that's a word. And revolutionary atheists are thinly veiled theocracy. Those who are broken and need guides have no idea that the conservative can provide not them something much better, guidance shelter. Tells me the mechanical most of you may babble and show than one. But in it is God who shall bring the judgment. A judgment day, if you will. Get it? You get it? Get the day judgment upon the enemies. We'll keep making that joke every time that happens. I say I jump on national conservatism. Before we had nationalism, and now I got a national conservatism. Nationalist conservatism. Well, we'll be as liberal. Who knows? The 12th century has proven to be perhaps the most cruel and inhumane of all human history, definitely. Never before has crime been seen, and there are no signs of it getting any better anytime soon. But in the last 20 years, the Democratic War took a nosedive like never before. Supported by the French tanks, Scythian Cossacks, and the Japanese fleet, war remains either lurking in the shadows or taken up by petty warlords. Naturally, this new age demanded mobilization like never seen before. More than now, resulting in the total collapse of parliamentary institution that gave way to dictators and autocrats of various shapes and colors. However, there were those who resisted the parliament urge to join the bacchanal madness of superpowers, who never maintained freedom, order, and tradition without foreseeing the democratic principles of the nation. Unitarian political authorities are labeled as national conservatives. In this essence, it combined the liberal contagion of a nation state unified by linguistic, cultural, and ethnic factors, mixed in with policies considered by most as conservative. However, one should not think about just the artifacts of a bygone era, but the opposite. The enemy firebrands are marching in line with time, invigorating youth workers to stand up for values the answers protected with their lives. To oppose the enemy, protect the democratic fatherland, whatever the cost. And also they accept militarism or baptism, that might help protect the reinvigoration of social order against the evils of foucheauism and socialism that plague the world. At the same time, what separates them from reactionaries is the decay of absolutism and blood admiration for years long gone, as they tend to support democratic process, even if some elements have to be restructured, changed, or eliminated to prevent the threat of a takeover inside the conflict of yes, yeah. They are about that reactionary bullshit. Definitely on that right-wing side of yes, yeah. Though often forced to cooperate or concede to the far right, they remain a bold and active force for the conservative side of politics, and their rifle wars. That tradition alone will not solve the world problems, but sooner or later attract enough people over to the liberal side them out their power. Bring the world to its natural state of duty, country, and honest labor, and even nation. Yeah. Oh, that's just the thing over here. When the state of war is over here, go do shit. So, you know, the one like the more center stuff, like a comeback. Of course, though, not think that's happening at all, like the center stuff. We got a proper comeback. But I very much am intrigued by how this is going to pan out over here for our Democratic friends. As per usual. I never said it actually, but usually I don't really bother them because, just Americanocracy stuff. But there's an interesting guy titled of democracy that path over here. Bet your ass I will do it. There's actually a few coding better memories I'm intrigued doing, so we shall see. We shall see over here. And I'm curious exactly how these are gonna come on top over here, and how they gonna be doing things. Can't wait for the super fan compilation to pop over here once it's possible over here. That's gonna be interesting. Yeah. Till then, let's see you guys whenever it's coming next over here. I don't know, but what I do know is that being for a lot of stuff over here, we shall see what we're gonna be dropping next over here. I think there's a few more before we get to the others. Before we get to the bigger, the big one, reactionary. We already did the common ones, so we got that reactionary and the cell stuff. So, till then, we shall see you guys. They know what it is. Bye.